Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Power BI template on top of Databricks system tables for cost management and cost charging. A lot of organizations have downloaded it, used it, and given us feedback. So thank you very much for that. One thing we've noticed is that people who are in charge of cost management or cost charge might not be super familiar with some of the Power BI features that we used in this template. So this is a video to walk you through how to set up the lookup tables, how to navigate around the reports, including how to do root cause analysis, and then how to productionize this template. Before we get started, please follow the instruction in the video linked in the top right corner for how to set up. It will only take 2 minutes to set up, and we will pick up where that video is left off. Right, now we've done the setup steps. We are in the data view of the model. What we want to do is to go to transform data. So we're now in Power Query Editor, and in the Power Query Editor we can see the workspace table that is currently dummy data. Now what we want to do is to swap it out with real data that is the mapping of your workspace ID and workspace name. So what you need to do here is to go to the applied steps in the Power Query Editor and click on this little gear, and then you can just change it to whatever workspace ID and workspace name that you have, and then click on OK. For the list of workspace IDs, names, the easiest way is to probably get it from the admin portal for your Databricks account. In the future, Databricks will include the workspace name in the system tables, so this can be a lookup easily, and you don't have to manually populate a lookup table. And once you've done the lookup table, you can just click OK, and this lookup table will get saved. If you're happy with the report layout that the template provides, all you need to do is to publish the Power BI report into a workspace. So we're in Power BI service. The first thing you want to do after the report is published is to go edit the data source credentials. So you find the semantic model, go to settings, and then under data source credentials, what you want to do is to edit credentials. Now you can use the username, password, the personal access token, or OAuth. Just remember whatever credentials you are using needs to have the appropriate permissions. This means they need to have use schema permission in the system.billing. They need to have the use catalog permission for the system catalog. They need to have permission to use the SQL warehouse that you used as the connection string, and they need to have access to the workspace that you're connecting to. So this you don't have to tick because the entire report is in import mode. The reason we build it on import mode is because system table is not updated on real-time basis. There's a few hours of delay, which means it makes more sense to build it on import mode. And all you need to do here is to sign in. So the next thing you want to do is to set up refreshes. So how you do this is basically click the refresh now, and Power BI will kick off the refresh using the credential that you have set in the data source credentials. You can also schedule the refresh. So you can set it here, turn on the refresh at a certain time, and also send out failure alert if the refresh has failed. Well, let's take a look at the report navigation. So you can look at things in weekly brackets or monthly bracket or quarterly bracket or daily bracket. You can filter the data range out to whatever you need, and you can look at specific workspaces or specific SKUs if you want. If you only care about interactive clusters, or if you only care about jobs, you can draw down to that. And here you can do tags. So in my dummy data, I've tagged business units, so I can take a look at what marketing is using or finance is using. This is why tagging is super important for this report, or for the capability to draw down. I can also draw down by different tags. So I can, for instance, if all my clusters are tagged with a owner, I can basically filter down by specific owners and look at whose clusters is costing me the most. And then you can also do analysis by tag. Again, this is very similar to the cost overview. You can draw down by different SKUs and look at specifically different tags, and depends on how you want to analyze your cost, you will tag your clusters in different ways. So I can look at, for instance, specifically how my dev, prod, test and UAT environment stack up against each other, or I can look at which owner is costing me most of the money, or which BU is costing most of the money. The cost breakdown is an interesting one. So what the decom tree here is doing is to draw down by different levels and let us understand which specific object is costing us the most money. So let's close all of these out for a second and just look at the total cost. So for this period, my total DBU cost is this much, and I can say, okay, I want to draw down by tag value. You can see I've filtered out by BU. Essentially, I can see which BU is costing me most money. So what I can try to understand is, out of supply chain, which workspace is costing me most money. So out of this workspace, which SKU is the most problematic? And then I can look at, out of the interactive SKUs, which cluster is the problem. So it's like peeling an onion. You can level by level draw down to what's driving the most costs out of certain period or out of certain business units. And if you don't want to draw down by business units, you can also draw down by environment, for instance. And then you can do the same thing where it will populate automatically. So the way the template or the data model is set up, what you can do is to do a multi-tag drawdown. So you can't draw down from business units and then environment and then criticality or owner. For that, you need some level of customization, which we'll cover in the next video.